Hey, how are you guys? So, 2020 is almost over. Fingers crossed, but, I think that the year is finally in the bag. And I say finally with a lot of, exclamation, you know? I say it very, very heavily. This year has been, pretty crazy. And I've seen it all. So, I feel like there's nobody better qualified. Well, there probably is, but for me, in my house, there's probably nobody better qualified except for the rest of my family. To me, there's probably nobody qualified better than me to talk about what happened this year. So, first of all, what happened to the YouTube channel this year? So, the thing that happened was, I'm pretty sure I took a small hiatus for maybe 2 months. I say small, but that's pretty long. And for a good reason, too. So the first main thing is that I hit 100 subscribers this year. And I also hit 200. So that's a lot of subscribers for me because this was pretty much my most successful year on YouTube so far. Fingers crossed it's not the most successful of all time, but for now it is. And I would just like to say thank you guys so much for watching the videos, supporting them, liking. Some people watch my videos no matter what it is about, they just watch it. And that is honestly very awesome. So, thank you guys. But let's talk about YouTube. What happened on YouTube this year? So, first of all, there was something kind of different. There was no YouTube Rewind. Sorry, I'm just picking a hair from my mic. There was no YouTube Rewind, so I guess there's no way to, show all of them, everything that happened, but in YouTube Rewind, what they do anyways is they just show things that nobody cares about, things that are not, they're not real. They just show fake YouTubers who don't exist. I've never heard of this guy, or that guy, or who the heck is this guy? And, I know that guy, actually. He's, a blue-haired Crimson Chin guy. But that's besides the point. A lot of things happened on YouTube. The main thing that I didn't like about YouTube this year was the Zoom humor. Now, the Zoom humor is where basically people are like, yeah, bro, Zoom is crazy, bro. This is how Zoom was at the beginning of the year. We all didn't expect this, and it is all crazy, man. And they always make humor about it. And obviously, people didn't expect this. Who expected this? And it's not our faults either, because 2019, most people would say that it was a pretty good year. 2018, most people say it wasn't that good of a year, but this year was absolutely horrible. And let's go through a rundown of what happened in 2020. So here I have a list of things that happened this year. So first of all, by the way, this is in no order. This is no specific order. First of all, COVID. That includes Zoom. That includes things like COVID. Everything about COVID. COVID was the main thing of this year. It's obviously the biggest disease of the year. People like to say, every 20s there was a big disease. And I actually think that's pretty true. Every 20s there's always a big disease that happens. And for this year it was COVID. And a lot of things happened for COVID. Karens, first of all, not wanting to wear their masks. If you unironically don't want to wear your mask, then honestly, screw you. This is not a joke. It's not a bit. Screw you. That is horrible. And Zoom, obviously, is a big part. I mean, I've done Zoom for the whole year, basically, except for those few beginning stages where we didn't really see what was coming until, March, maybe. And, the year was full, and I mean full, of COVID. But that's not the only bad thing that happened this year. Pretty much a lot of things were bad. There were very little good events that happened. So first of all, there were the Australian wildfires, the bushfires, and everybody thought this was bad whenever it happened in January. Nobody were expecting what was to come, and this was a really bad event. It killed off a bunch of things in Australia and really messed up. And the other thing that happened right at the beginning of the year was World War III. Now, it didn't actually happen. That would be the biggest thing this year. Like COVID would be mere compared to World War III. But World War III, it didn't actually happen. But basically, if you didn't know, Trump kind of just bombed an Iranian general. And a lot of people are mad about that. And, or I guess not anymore, were mad about that. And basically, people thought there was going to be a war and there was going to be like a military draft. Obviously, there wasn't going to be a world war. There were going to be some repercussions, obviously, but a war? Really? Really, guys, you thought a war? A war? Really? A war? Come on. The other thing that happened was more sad than bad, but it was also bad. Kobe Bryant's death. If you didn't know, I don't want to get into too much detail because this is pretty sad. Basically, Kobe Bryant was on a helicopter with his daughter, and basically the helicopter malfunctioned and fell down, and they died, which I think that's what happened. I'm not 100% sure, but this one was more sad than just straight up just bad like COVID. Let's get more lighthearted here. Cyberpunk 2077. Obviously it came out, but the biggest part about this, I was actually going to make a video about this, but I thought I could just include it onto here. There were so many bad glitches. Glitches that didn't happen on PS5, because I'm pretty sure they only tested it out on PS5, but on PS4 everything was bad, and the majority of people were playing on PS4, and there were so many glitches, so many bad things that happened, and it was actually pretty funny. But it's kind of sad that the game with some of the most hype ever is one of the worst in terms of glitches. The other thing that happened was PS5 launches and Xbox. Yeah, this was a big part of the year. Basically, PS5 launched and people pre-ordered it and stuff, and it was actually pretty cool. Except there were only a limited amount, and most people couldn't get their hands on it, which is pretty sad. And I think one of the biggest things, maybe the second biggest thing of the whole year, was the elections. Donald Trump was facing Joe Biden, and obviously now we know Joe Biden won, and Joe Biden's going to be the next president, which I don't know how some people feel about that. I don't really care. But that was really big. It pretty much impacted the whole year, just as a whole. Another smaller thing was gender reveal parties. If you didn't know, it caused 2 wildfires in California and caused the whole sky to be red. Nobody at this point likes gender reveal parties. Everybody thinks it's completely useless and there's no real point to it, and it causes harm, as we saw in the beginning, which I don't know what you guys think about that, but I kind of think it's true. And the next one, which was also another smaller one, was killer wasps. Now, killer wasps were basically just these wasps that came from Asia, and they were found in the US. And they're enormous. They're enormous wasps. They're this big, and they're really harmful. And if you didn't know this, but my least favorite animal and least favorite bug is the wasp by a landslide. I don't think there's any other one that compares to it, because wasps suck. Okay, they sting you for no reason. They can sting you multiple times, and they're just mean and big and scary. And I know that I'm acting like a little baby, but it's true. Next is memes. I want to talk about memes because I always think it's a big part of the year. And let's just start. So in January, we got World War II memes. I already mentioned this. People thought there was going to be a draft, and we were basically joking about who would be in a draft and stuff. And obviously there was no World War III, which is very good because I can't handle COVID and World War III at the same year. But that was pretty much the biggest one. And then there was also the Mike Wazowski one. It's the biggest reactionary meme of the whole year. It was basically just, okay, shut up. It was basically just Mike Wazowski and Sully flipped, like their faces were just face swapped completely. If you don't know who they are, they're from Monsters Inc. and I guess Monsters University. And that was a huge meme this year. This year as a whole, but I don't want to put it for the other months. And then there was, of course, probably the biggest one actually of the month was COVID. Obviously COVID memes did exist. It's crazy to think that we didn't really know what was coming. But like we joked about it in the beginning of the year. I remember at the beginning of the year there were like 50 deaths. Little did they know. But yeah, that was a big meme. I shouldn't say meme because it's less of a meme and more of an event, like I said before. Next is February. Now, February did have some pretty good ones. It had one pretty big one medium-sized, and then one that was just kind of a general one that barely happened. This was Ice Age Baby as the medium one. And Ice Age Baby, it was basically just a meme that everybody hated. I don't mean everybody hated the meme. I mean everybody hated the Ice Age Baby. For who knows what reason, but I think it's just because he was annoying. And you know what? I agree with this one. I think the Ice Age Baby was very annoying. The thing that bothers me the most is the space in between his eyes and, like, his face. They're just completely spread apart. They're like this. And fun fact, if you go on the Ice Age Wikipedia, yes, there's an Ice Age Wikipedia. There's a Wikipedia for everything now. He's 6'10". Like we always say that, oh, we would kick him, we would punch him, but this guy is almost 7 feet. Jesus Christ. And the smaller one, more general one, was Super Bowl memes. I don't actually know anything about Super Bowl memes. The biggest one to come from there was the commercial of the Mr. Peanut baby. And that one was pretty big, I would say. Oh yeah, that brings me to another one, which was Baby Yoda, but I didn't include this here for some reason. Maybe that was 2019? Who cares? Next was March, and the biggest one for March was COVID. Again, I know I already said it before, but this is where basically it started to ramp up. It gained another DEF CON. At this point, it was DEF CON 6, if DEF CON 6 was the highest one. But I don't know anything about DEF CONs, but it was very high up there. It was probably the most important thing, and also the biggest thing of this year. That includes Zoom, work from home things. One of the biggest thing was work from home, where it basically was like the government says to work from home, and then it was like truck drivers, and then it showed them playing with a truck. You get it, right? Oh wait, shoot! I forgot to include the largest one of February. Let me just rewind. Yeah, the biggest one of February was simp. The word simp, the most overused, and just in general, the most used word of this year. And this word sucked. People madly overused it. Nobody used it right. Sorry. It's basically meant to be like if there was a guy who liked the girl for some reason, even though she didn't bring anything to the table. That's what a simp is. But people just made it like for anything. A guy talked to a girl, they're a simp. You're just a simp. Which is kind of weird because then I would be considered a simp because I talk to my mom every day, but that's besides the point. I hate this word. I'm sorry, but it was the biggest word of the year. Sorry, Pog, but simp was definitely the biggest word of the year. And it was also like a meme, but it wasn't as much of a meme as it just is a word. And it's one of my least favorites. So Boo, I guess. Why did I put a thumbs up? Boo, I guess. Boo. How do I just... This looks fake. Boo. And now let's go back to March. Yeah, a big one of COVID was the Too Mad Zoom boomings. Bombings. And there was no bombing involved. It was basically just where Too Mad got onto Zoom calls from classrooms and stuff and would basically say some stuff. It was a whole big thing. And the other one was the 2020 can't get any worse meme, because so many bad things happened up until that point already, and people were just like, it can't get any worse, right? And then they would just put a picture of some alien invasion or something. Now let's go on to April. Now the April one, I don't know what this one is called, but it's basically the African Coffin Guys, and there was that song. It was a pretty big one. I mean, it wasn't anything like extremely funny or anything. It was just a casual one. The other one, which is kind of an event, but I forgot to put it as the event one, so sorry. But basically, it was where Kim Jong-un had a heart attack, and basically, he was about to die. Which, I don't know if that's true, because he was seen later, a few days later. So, I don't know how much of that is true, but, the main part was that, Kim Jong-un was about to go night-night, and when I say night-night, I mean permanent night-night. He was about to die, and basically the memes were just talking about like how his surgeons were having to escape from North Korea for not saving him, and it was a pretty funny one because Kim Jong-un, not my favorite guy, and I just feel like he kind of deserved to die, if that makes sense. That sounds very bad, but I swear to God. So now let's go on to May. The biggest one of May was, it's a toss-up between two. The first one being Doge and Cheems. It was basically the one of Buff Doge and Cheems, which was like the little dog, the little Doge. People didn't know he was Cheems for a while. People thought he was just like small Doge. But it was basically comparing how something used to be back then to now. And it was basically like Apple back then, Apple now, and it was a pretty good meme. I liked it. The other one was Elon Musk's son. Now, his name was pretty kooky, to say the least. Pretty cringe. Pretty, unbased. Pretty, I don't know any other words to describe it, but it was pretty bad. It was like XAE something. I don't know how to say it, but, obviously it was gonna get memed. You can't name your son that. Especially if you're a big celebrity who's always in the mainstream. You can't name your son that and not expect it to be memed. And I think they have to change it and stuff. But, yeah, that one was a big one. And it was pretty much just talking about how his son was like a robot and stuff. It was a pretty funny one, I gotta say. And the other one was, this one was pretty small, but it was basically like if those kids could read, then they'd be very upset. And that one was pretty funny because it was basically making fun of this group of people while also making fun of them again. So it was like a double whammy, basically. And it was pretty good. And the other one was, also kind of small, but it was pretty funny to me, was Eggman. And if you didn't know, Eggman was this clip of this guy singing this Chinese song, but doing it very badly. And he looked like an egg. So, yeah, Eggman. Next is June. Now, I thought that I really wanted June to have very good memes because that's the month of my birthday. And I was like, man, this should be good. But there weren't that many, but there were some pretty good ones. And that is the I Can Milk You meme from Markiplier. Basically, he just saw a cow in Minecraft, and then he said, I can milk you. And then basically, that's how that meme started. They were using it as, like, a company using this thing to, like, saying, like, I can use this a lot. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The next one was PS5. It's basically talking about how the PS5 looked, either saying it looked like an internet thing, a router. Yes, that's the word, a router with two pieces of paper next to it. And this also includes the Xbox one with how it looks like a refrigerator, which, side note, this is unrelated. Xbox made a fridge. Xbox made an actual fridge. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty kooky. But yeah, that was a pretty big one. And the other one, which was kind of small, was Wide Putin. And that one was pretty funny. It was basically just a clip of Putin, but he was outstretched, and there was this music in the background, and people would recreate that and stuff of him walking. And it was actually pretty funny. Now, July only had one meme. The other ones, like, it had a meme, but, like, I didn't really want to include it. But, yeah, let me just say them. Actually, then, let me just say one. And that was Craig. Now, Craig was from the Halo trailer, and basically they were saying, like, the whole game sucked. The trailer looked bad. But the good thing was Craig. Craig, I think, is like a monster, is like a little monster, a creature. I don't play Halo anyways, so that was a big one though. Kind of, not really though. July was the worst month for memes. But Craig was a pretty good one. For September, this actually I think had the most memes of the year. I think maybe besides January, but who knows. And that was debates. The presidential debates happened. Joe Biden against Donald Trump. And obviously there were so many edits of them because both of them were acting like children. And, yeah, that was a pretty funny one. And I think one of the biggest things that happened this year. Next is, I think, the biggest game of the whole year, which was Among Us. And Among Us was a good game, I'd say. I'd say it's a good game. And it was easily, by far, the most talked about game of the whole year. And it makes sense. It's basically a game where, if you don't know it, there are like 10 people per game. You can change it 10, 7. And there would be one imposter, or 2 or 3, whatever. And you would try to find who that imposter is. Or if the imposter killed everybody in the map, then they would win. Pretty much the game. And that was just a really big meme about the game in general. Next was Da Vinci, and it was basically about these two guys. I think they were brothers who basically were just really dumb. And then to an answer about who made the Mona Lisa, it said Da Vinci, but they said Da Vinci, and that's pretty much how it was. I just recreated it flawlessly right there. And the other one was the Travis Scott burger, and the Travis Scott burger was, I'd say, pretty good. It was a very big one. If you didn't know, the Travis Scott burger was basically where Travis Scott had his own meal at McDonald's with his favorite combination of food. And if you didn't know, I tried it. Here's the link to the video. I think it should be there or there. I don't know which side, but I think it's right there. And basically, it was a good one. It was a good meme. It was a Drew Gooden. It was a good one. It was good. October really didn't have any memes at all. It just had the Polish cow, which was basically the clip of the cow just going like that, and a song over it, a Polish song, and they called it Polish Cow. And the other big one was Super Smash Bros. Basically they added Steve in the game, and that was meme to death. And even though it was meme to death, it was still a small meme, which tells you that that was not that good of a meme. And that's pretty much it. There was, I can't say it, but, I'll just show up a photo of text on the screen, and, that's how it looked like. But to say it now, I'm just gonna say poop butt. Yes, that's what it's called, poop butt. Except it's bad words, and I can't say bad words because my parents watch my videos, and, that'd be kind of bad. But November had some pretty good memes. That was only really 2. I mean, I put 3, but it's really 2. It's the PS5 versus Xbox, because the PS5 got launched in November, and the Xbox, I think it still got launched, but it was basically just comparing the two. And if you didn't know, PS5 way oversold the Xbox. At least I'm pretty sure. And a lot of memes were about that too. And the other small one was Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. It was basically that photo of Nate Robinson on the floor. And basically it showed memes. And COVID Paul. Jake Paul over there basically just celebrating and stuff. And that's basically what the meme was. They would just add text over each person. And December is not done yet, so there could be some more memes. I'm going to talk about those memes on January if you guys really want it. Yeah. And that's pretty much it for memes. And that's pretty much it for the whole year. So, what did we learn from this year? Well, we learned that never feel safe because there's always going to be a virus. And, it was just really sad. It was just a really traumatic, sad year. And, most people experienced some sort of peril this year. Whether it be something getting canceled or something, someone getting canceled or something. Or, just like somebody in their family getting COVID. A lot of bad things happened this year, but hopefully next year we could improve on those things, on what happened. We can improve somehow, and we can make next year a good year. I still have hope. I know we said that about 2020. It's crazy to believe that at the beginning of the year, most people thought that 2020 was going very well. And obviously now we know that that's not true at all. It is not going good. Not even a bit. But, besides that, I don't have much to say. Merry Christmas, everybody. Or Happy Holidays. Whatever you like. Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. Happy Hanukkah. And depending on when I'll be posting this, 2020 will be over very, very soon. So, thank you guys for watching this. And, bye. That's all I have to say. See ya. See ya. Goodbye. Why are you still watching this? 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 Goodbye, Craig. 2020 may have been a bad year. And sure, it may be bad in a lot of 2020. And it might still carry over. But guess what? At least we still have Craig.